Welcome back to another episode of Podcast Demastered, a place where we celebrate our love for all things nerdy. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Wade.
On today's episode, we will be demastering The Farewell, the 2019 movie starring Awkwafina. And it's the month of May, so we are back celebrating our kind of tradition at this point. The last couple years, we have celebrated Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we picked a movie. It's not a particularly happy movie, but it's not a completely sad drama. It's a dramedy, but without too much comedy.
The comedy does not have a heavy place in the story. It's more about it. The comedy is there to try to keep things light from time to time, but it doesn't do a great job. But it's not that it's not good. It's just that it's like life, right?
Yeah.
It's like in a room full of terribly sad people, you know, it's hard to keep the spirits up. And I think it replicates that really well.
Yeah. And so The Farewell, so when you heard us at the top, we said that this stars Awkwafina. Many people might automatically even think of Awkwafina by being just like, oh, she's funny. She's a comedian. Like, this is a funny movie. And you're like, no, this is like we said, this is a drama. She plays a very serious role. She does a really great job. Mm-hmm. She did receive awards for this role. And this movie also is just a very interesting premise for it. So this was directed by Lulu Wang, who has said many times the beginning opening of this movie, it says this is based on a lie. And you felt
based on a true
lie. Yes.
Not a true story, a true lie.
True lie. And it's a very interesting premise because our main character is Awkwafina, and she is a Chinese American living in New York, just trying to find her place in the world. And you see her talking with her grandma. She's pretty close. Her grandma lives in China. And then her parents are kind of like, we're going to China soon. And she's like, why? And they're like, because your cousin's getting married. And she's like, what? And they're like, well, not really. Your grandma's sick, but we're going to have a wedding to see her, but you're not invited. And she's like,
that was so rough at first. Her mom's just like, well, even if it was just like the wedding, you can't come. Mm-hmm. It's fine. You're busy. You have a life. We don't, nobody expects you to come. It's all good. And then like, it flips right to like, oh, well, your nai is sick.
Mm-hmm.
But you still can't come because you can't keep it together long enough.
Because you're too emotional.
Yeah, you're too emotional. I was like, girl, like, dang.
Yeah.
Be
and
nice.
Yeah. And like, Awkwafina's character's name is Billy, and so you see Billy, who's just like, she has this closer relationship with her grandma. Like, they talk on the phone all the time, they joke around and stuff, and she's just like, how can I not be there? Like, not only is all my family going to be there, but then you're also saying my grandma is dying, and I want to be there. And she goes anyway. But it's this really interesting look at this family and how they deal with this grief, and the whole idea that the entire family knows the grandma is sick, but the thing is, they don't tell the grandmother. They don't tell Nai that she is sick. And that is the tradition specifically, even like within their family, about anytime there's an illness, it's almost the family itself carries that burden, so the person with the illness doesn't know. But then you deal with this conflicting things where Nai goes to the hospital, she goes to get test results, and she keeps questioning, like, am I really doing that great? And a family's like, yeah, here, take some vitamins.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah. But it's so interesting to see because you see Billy just conflicted the entire movie. Like, she is really trying to soak in these moments with her grandmother, while the rest of the family is just like, stop, don't bring anything up, stop showing emotion. And she's like, I don't understand. And you also get this interesting dynamic specifically because of this wedding. Like, her cousin has only known his girlfriend / technically fiance at this point for what, like, was it 3 months?
3 months, yeah.
And it's just like, wow. And
I want to know how the conversation went with her parents, because at first I was like, oh, they're gonna like do like a hoax wedding, right?
Yeah.
We are not having a real wedding. We're really just passing it off, and we're gonna chuckle about it eventually. No, it's a real wedding. They're legitimately getting married. I want to know what that conversation was like with her parents.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it went well, because it seems like his side of the family is pretty well off, right? Like dad's working in Japan and he's doing all these things. Maybe they have a lot of money. So her parents was like, oh, absolutely. Like, thank you for taking care of our daughter kind of thing. I don't know, though. That's such a cultural thing. Oof.
No, I know. That part was so interesting. And I realized, like, because the cousin and his fiance aren't our main characters, we don't get to see enough from their point of view. But we see
we don't see enough from them at all. Oh,
no,
my gosh.
But all we see is just, like, them just being completely devastated throughout. Because, I mean, the cousin barely speaks. Because, like, he's just being, like, told, you're getting married, your grandma's dying, act happy. And he's just, like, can barely keep it together. But it's also an interesting dynamic. So Billy's dad, like, he chose to emigrate to the United States. And so they had been living in the United States. Like, Billy was born in China, but, like, left at such a young age.
She's, like, 6 or something, I think they said.
And so she's been living 25 years in the United States with her parents. And then her cousin's family, they left, I think, pretty close to around the same time that Billy's dad chose to move. And they chose to move to Japan. And so that's the whole thing, too, about, like, that her uncle works in Japan. And, like, her cousin, like, yes, he speaks Chinese, but he also has immersed himself for so many years in Japanese culture, speaks Japanese, his future wife is Japanese, and the entire family has not gotten together since they were last in China 25 years ago. So you're having this crazy family reunion, catching up, dealing with the grandmother dying, but also not telling her, and then also having a fake real wedding.
There's a lot going on.
Yes.
And also, like, with that being said, one of the first things you hear in the movie is that Billy's not allowed to go because she can't keep it together. And, like, the entire movie, it's nothing but everybody else not keeping it together.
Yes.
And I'm like, girls, like, keep it, like, for real. Come on. Like, the uncle gets up on stage during the wedding, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
And then you make Billy go up there and talk afterwards, and she did a great job, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really, get it together.
Yeah.
And then poor How, he just, poor baby, just like bawling during the wedding. Like, oh gosh, I felt so bad. Like, he made me tear up because, like, I could, like, feel, you know, I could feel that. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I think, you can really feel, like, those emotions because there is so little said from his character. But, like, we do get a lot from Billy, and it's so interesting because, yes, people talking about keeping it together, not showing emotion, and you also get this contrast for people who are like, well, you're so American, Billy, you don't understand, like, you wear your feelings differently than, you know, everybody else in the family does. Like, just because you have this way of thinking doesn't mean you're right. And then she goes, well, just because you guys have these traditional values of, like, not telling people when they're sick with cancer, I don't see how this is right. Like, how can people not know? The movie itself leaves it really open-ended. You're just watching this family go through this time, and it's just not saying either side is right or wrong, but it kind of makes you just think about that in life. This idea of how family deals with trauma and how family deals with bad news.
Yeah.
And it's very different, like, personally for me, but I'm also obviously an American. I definitely am like, no, I would want to know. I think it's important to tell people. And so, but I can see through this movie about reasons why they don't. But it's definitely...
No, I'm glad that they took time, not at first, but, like, eventually to talk to Billy about the difference in perspective and why it has to be the way it is, because Nai has grown up and lived to be this way, and it's the same thing they did with the grandpa. And I appreciated them just putting it in words, right?
Yeah.
As a watcher, as an audience member, it helped me understand a different culture, understand the different perspective. And I think that really helped Billy understand it as well. The way he explained it, we're like, in the East, your life is not just your own. And so by sharing this information with Nai, it places the burden on her when we can all share it together and help her be happy and healthy as much as she possibly can be. Because, you know, at the beginning when they explain, like, in China, there's the saying where, like, if you get cancer, you will die. And it's not because you have cancer, it's because of the fear that comes with that. And, oh, that rocked me.
It's very
That rocked
powerful,
me to my core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting in general that, like, it's a very unique premise for a movie like this, because this is also something you typically don't see in cinema. sometimes you see a lot of like the person knows they have some type of illness and they don't tell the family throughout the whole entire thing, but you're seeing this reverse where the whole family knows and the person who has the illness does not know. But I like that this movie does try to have those quieter moments too. Like, even though it's the craziness of preparing for this wedding, we see Billy with Nine Eyes spending these moments catching up. They have a very funny relationship. Nine Eye is very supportive, but also very much like, you need a man in your life. And Billy's
I love that conversation.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
You need a man. You need somebody to take care of you and to care about you. And Billy's straight up like, okay, well, Grandpa's dead, so, maybe you should find a man. And she's like, oh, but women also need to be independent and do things on their own. And Billy's like, and Nine Eye's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, because isn't it funny? Because like that other guy, like that she kind of lives with, like that, she's like, we're like not really a thing, but yes, I love the conversations they have with each other, because you're like, oh, you expect her to just keep Nine to be like, no, man, but then having that conversation about, oh, independence, and they have little moments where they do little like exercises together.
Oh, I loved that scene.
Yes,
that was a good scene.
Yeah, and especially near the end of the movie too, because Nine only has the 2 grandchildren, and the one was the cousin that was getting married. She still spends a lot of time with Billy and is like, I want to give you like a red envelope. And Billy's just, like, you don't need to give me money. Like, I didn't do anything. And she's like, no, you need it, but I want you to spend it on yourself, like doing something. Don't spend this on useless things like rent and stuff. It's for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I think it's nice to see, because since you know such a heavy thing, you're expecting kind of the ending of the movie to get to the point where you have
you think you know exactly where that and the way that they did the ending, it was so hard. My heart was shattering as we got closer and closer to those last minutes. And because, like, they wake up and they have to go catch the taxi to go get on the plane to leave. And they're all dragging their feet about it because they don't want to leave Nine, like, presumably for the last time. And she's kind of, like, pushing him out the door and pulling him back. And her and Billy just kind of sit there and hold each other for a long time. Like, that got me, too.
Yeah.
And then I can't believe they do the thing where she puts him in the taxi. And then the taxi drives off and she like wanders into the street and is like waving and then like covers her hand with her mouth and starts to cry, except the camera is like pulling back with the taxi. I was like, you cannot do this to me right now. Are you kidding me? Like, get out of here with that. That was too good of a call.
Yeah.
Because like her heart's breaking watching her family go. But it's probably like for the last time, but she doesn't know that. She just really loves her granddaughter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of emotions in that, yeah. And then it is kind of interesting because the story does continue a little bit further, because then we see Billy back in New York City. And she also does the thing, she does like the breath yelling thing at the end too.
She does the little exercising thing that her grandma taught her. And I was so scared because she's walking and it's just like soundless. She's just walking down the sidewalk and then she just kind of stops in shock and like shouts, ha! And then you see like the tree and all of the birds leave the tree and it's just a still tree. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. And I was really like, I started to tear up at that point because then it just fades to black. Like that's the end of the movie. And then
it's kind of like a loose plot twist because the movie ends by showing a picture and it's like the real Nine and that she is still alive today. And so when this movie came out in 2019, the director said that her grandmother was diagnosed with cancer in 2013. And this story is based on her family, and her family did not tell her grandmother that she had cancer and that she has lived so long. As of the recording of this episode, I am not sure if she's still alive or not, but that's still just a really sweet story when it came out of just like the real Nine is still alive. And the production of this movie is pretty interesting. So Lulu Wang filmed this movie very close to where her grandmother lived in China, and her grandmother would come visit the set, but she told her grandmother this is just a movie like about her family, and she's like, yeah, I can see that, like but she had no idea about the whole entire premise of the movie. The big lie itself was incorporated in the movie. And what's also interesting is that little Nai Nai, the sister to the grandmother, in the movie is the real great aunt of the director.
Oh my gosh.
So she actually plays herself.
Oh, that's wild.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
So right before this movie was released in China is when the real Nai Nai found out about the cancer, because one of her friends sent her a review of the movie. The title translated is "Don't Tell Her." Oh, and then she was like, oh, I'm the woman. I'm her. And then she finally realized about it. It's very wild.
That's devastating. Oh my god.
Yeah. And you're like, it's really sweet because it's just like, old ladies being like, oh, look, this is your granddaughter. You must be so proud. Here's this movie. And then she's like, oh, this is what the movie is about?
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Is this movie about me?
Yeah.
Is this play about us?
Oh my gosh. Also, the director, Lulu Wang, she had trouble getting funding for this movie, which is kind of interesting at the time. I mean, this was clearly probably in production when Crazy Rich Asians was released, because Crazy Rich Asians came out in 2018 and this movie was released in 2019. But she was just kind of in this weird influx for a while about like, why will nobody fund my movie? Just because it's a personal story doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to be told. Well, she ended up getting funding after she was interviewed on This American Life. And actually, when she told her real story on there, they're like, oh, that's interesting. We will help fund your movie. And then that's how her movie came to be. And then obviously picked up by, this is a good old A24 movie where they have some spectacular indie films. And then it was released from there. But another interesting fact for those who might not know, so Lulu Wang is married to Barry Jenkins, who is a famous director as well. One of his most famous movies is Moonlight.
Oh, that's fancy. Oh, power couple. Wow.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Oh my goodness, okay.
But in general, I think this movie, I would recommend people watching. It's good to know what you're getting into. It is a slow drama, but it does a really good job. Everybody has great acting in it. It's good to see different stories out there in the world. It
really is. And I caught onto this pretty early in the movie, but I really appreciated how slow paced it was. At times, sometimes it's faster, but there are so many scenes where it's just kind of like people aren't talking. They're just kind of living and looking and listening. Mm-hmm. Or it's just like, hey, here's scenery and nature. And the sounds of the world. I adore when movies use silence and scenery to such a masterful effect. And because sometimes it's you've just been given information. We're gonna let you ponder on those feelings and what you think it means for a second, and then we're gonna move on because the characters are too.
Yeah.
They're processing, they're thinking, they're feeling. And the movie gives you a chance to do that with them.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here, I'm just tearing up about it. I noticed that so early, and so I felt every scene. Mm-hmm. And I was just yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Any other final notes?
If you want to see Awkwafina do a serious role, please watch this movie because she is amazing. And most of the attempts at comedy that the movie gives is not even coming from Awkwafina.
Mm-mm.
She's not trying at all. It's all serious for her. So, give it a watch.
Yes. Well, listeners, that'll do it for this episode.
And that's it for another episode of Podcast Demastered.
If you enjoyed hanging out with us today, don't forget to follow and subscribe, leave us a review, and tell a friend.
If you have an episode idea, send us an email at demasteredpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook @PodDemastered.
Thanks for listening, and tune in for the next time we demaster our favorite things on Podcast Demastered.